Montreal Canadiens president and CEO Geoff Molson has issued a statement regarding his team drafting Logan Mailloux, 31st overall, first round. And, guys said to me it's long. It's not that long. It's worth reading, and I think we should talk about this today. The guy that has faced, not only faced charges, been found guilty and has paid his debt over in Sweden. Sexually explicit charges. Here's from Geoff Molson. You haven't heard any of this, right?
This
just came down this morning, and you folks can discern for yourself how you feel. He goes, I want to share with you my perspective on our decision to select Logan Mailloux in the 2021 NHL draft. The decision made in the context of the draft turned out to be instantaneously very offensive to many of you. Again, this is from Geoff Molson, the top dog with the Montreal Canadiens. I understand that you expect more from us and we let you down. The Montreal Canadiens are more than a hockey team. Logan's actions do not reflect the values of our organization, and I apologize for the pain this selection has caused. First and foremost, regarding the young woman who is the victim, I want to say that we do not minimize what she's had to and continues to have to live through. No one, especially not an 18-year-old, should have to suffer through a traumatic experience like this. We are there to support her and her family and respect their privacy. Our selection of Logan was never intended to be disrespectful towards her or her family, or more generally towards women or other victims of similar situations. Our decision was not intended in any shape or form to be an endorsement of the culture of violence against women. Logan is a young man who committed a serious transgression. He is genuinely remorseful about the pain he has caused. He is committed to becoming a better person, and we all work with him through this process. I'm getting to the end, but clearly this is important. He says, at this stage, it is only our actions that will speak louder than our words. And he's got 3 points here. He says, over the course of the next few months, we will develop, in conjunction with local experts, a comprehensive plan to raise awareness and educate young men and young women about this serious issue. 2, we will support and oversee Logan's commitment to becoming a better person. 3, we have asked Logan not to participate in our rookie or main training camp this fall. Being a player in the NHL is a privilege that is earned, not a right that is granted. As the year progresses, we will reassess Logan's readiness to be part of our organization. We gave Logan a second chance, but in doing so, we failed to properly assess the impact of our decision on the victim and on anyone who's suffered in similar circumstances. Once again, I want to apologize to everyone impacted by our decision. Signed, Geoff Molson, owner, president, and CEO of the Montreal Canadiens. So there you go. My initial take on that, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You're punishing him again by not allowing him to come to camp. So he's going to sit there this fall, not be able to participate in camp with his teammates, of which you guys drafted him. If you really felt bad about it, you would have renounced the pick, like the Arizona Coyotes did with that Miller kid last year. That's just my take on that. So it's sort of like we're sorry, but not totally sorry. But I've said my piece on that on Monday. On where I stand with Logan Mailloux, I said that I believe he does earn or deserve a second chance. Now that you've read that, what's your take?
Yeah, it's a little similar. I mean, the kid's probably going to go back. It's rare that players come right out of the draft and play. It doesn't happen often unless you're in a top 5 draft pick. Mm-hmm. So the kid's probably going back to junior anyway. So this is, hey, look we want him a part of our team. We want to help him change. But this is what we're doing. He's not going to be part of camp. And he's not really part of our team. And we'll see where he's at. Yeah, it's a little bit like, you realize you made a mistake and now you're trying to make it right. But at the same time, all we can do is control how we react today. They messed up by taking him. They know they messed up. You can't go back and fix that. So all you can do is, control how you act today. And the fact that they're going to take some steps is great. I hope it's, enough to keep everybody happy. I hope the kid, learns from this. We won't know if this is the right thing to do for a few years until this kid, gets through this, enters the franchise, and is he a changed kid, and is he grown, and is he deserving of a second chance? So, I mean, it's all you can do right now. That's all they can do.
From Jeff Kozak, one of our viewers who is a Habs fan, he says, so a wasted first-round pick. And I wouldn't immediately discount that comment from him. You know what I mean? This is what I would say to the Montreal Canadiens. Was it worth it? What did you think was going to happen? Now, having said all of this, the people that have their opinions, I have mine, you have yours. Mm-hmm. Millions of NHL fans have theirs, millions of non-NHL fans, but fans of the situation, followers of the situation have their opinion. I haven't talked to Logan Mailloux. I have not talked to the victim. I have not talked to the Montreal Canadiens. Maybe if I got in a room with all of them, I'd have a different opinion. I'm just going by what I read.
I know.
Right?
I know. And people are talking about the timing of this. That is a little bit, you could let the news of the free agency die down a bit before you release this, but it's also feels like trying to hide this in here. Look, I'll release the statement. Maybe the spotlight won't be on us because of the free agency news, and we can kind of get through this. But right now, as we've seen, it's a PR thing.
Right.
We'll know in terms of the next year or two if they're taking actual action and if this kid grows into a really good contributing member of society. These statements and stuff, it's all PR.
Mandy in Edmonton frankly, she cuts right through it. She says, speak to a criminal psychologist. Then you'll know what's right and what isn't. And I think that's a really good point, which I'm not and you're not.
No.
We're all offering assessments based on what we hear. And I deal with a lot of victims too. I deal with a lot of abusers as well, I might add. And it's a sad situation all around. But I made my thoughts on Monday. I want to hear yours. This is the second half kickoff for the Four Seasons Sports Palace. Brett Taylor, watching on Facebook, says, if moving forward there is growth and healing, this could turn out to be a positive, but people have to be willing to move that way. From C. Walker on YouTube says, the timing is awful. Don't release that within an hour of the opening of free agency. That's what we say yesterday. The teams aren't aware of this. You'd think, what did I say yesterday? We sit back and go, they couldn't be that dumb, right? This is a National Hockey League team. Yes, they could. Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
They don't think about this stuff. It's shocking, I know. Colin in Ottawa says, remember Jerome Messam did the same thing as Logan Mailloux, and the Rough Riders released him in mid-2018, and the CFL said they would not honor any contract he signed with any of the league's clubs. Right. And to be honest, when this happened with Logan Mailloux, Jerome Messam was the first guy I thought of. I've known Mess a long time. When this happened with Mess, he was in his 30s. If I'm not mistaken, not an 18-year-old kid. That was not a first offense with Jerome Messam. It was with Logan Mailloux. That may or may not matter to you, but it matters a lot to me. Our justice system is set up for that. First offenses, there's a reason they call it a first offense. Are you going to learn from here? Some people do, some don't.
That's why we don't have a death penalty. We believe in rehabilitation.
Exactly.
And for those of you who are unable to change and grow, then you don't get out of prison. And it's the same happens in this. You don't necessarily go to jail, but if he doesn't grow, he might not get a third chance. And you definitely don't get a fourth chance. You have to show that you've learned from it and grow. And it doesn't happen by words, it happens with actions.
Yes. Interesting how this is. We're going to write down what we're talking about here for the post-game recap, the post-show recap. John in Kansas City says, Geoff Molson should have offered the full resources of the Canadiens to help the girl if she wants it. And I didn't really see that in his statement. I did not.
I know.
But it was, yeah. Chris Bird, no, hang on. John, where the heck is it? Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, meh, that's pretty much the response I would expect from a trust fund billionaire. I'm just repeating it, not agreeing or disagreeing. Robin Wildey in Prince Albert says, Jaden Schwartz to sign with Seattle. Lori Bursey in Toronto, and she's right. She says any father of a female victim would feel differently about a second chance. Agreed. Father of 3 girls right here. Totally get it. By the way, Moose, it's 11:11.
Yeah.
Happen again.
Drink.
Take a sip of coffee. Yes, she's right. Life is about perspective. Ryan Gregory on YouTube says this statement should have been issued immediately after the pick, not days later just to cover their ass, or after the Prime Minister came out and admonished the Montreal Canadiens yesterday. What a mess.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.